In a school that has produced two previous Major League catchers, Jeff Grotwall and Corky Miller, Ryan Miller stands in line for his turn at baseball stardom. And Ryan, you were a soccer player in high school as well as baseball. Is that true?
Yeah, I played soccer all 4 years of high school, 3 years of varsity.
What? How
Was
did how did that help you? Did it actually help your footwork at all? Is there any kind of parallel universe between soccer and being a catcher at all?
Oh yeah, it helped. It helped with a lot of agility, quick feet, and then athleticism, and it helped with stamina too. Because we used to run like 8 miles a day, and now I have plenty of leg strength, and I can handle being behind the plate the entire game.
What was Brian Miller like as a high school baseball player? Tell us about some of your accomplishments.
Um, I was uh I was more of a power hitter in high school. I had a couple home runs, more RBIs. I was more of a feared batter. They used to hit me a lot and intentionally not intentionally walk me, but not give me pitches to hit, and I'd end up walking a lot. So I set a couple records: most runs scored, most hit by pitches, most RBIs, most consecutive hits in consecutive games, and so yeah, that was me in high school.
Tell us how you wound up at Valley College.
Our there's a MSJC, Mount St. Central Junior College, that's right here down the street from me, and it wasn't. I asked friends about it, and there was really no good stories to tell about MSJC. So one game, it was the senior All Star game. I had Coach Mesrick come up to me and talk to me, and ever since then, and he got one phone call with me and talked to me for about 2 hours nonstop, and ever since
No,
then
not
is
not Coach Messerick. 2 hours? Wow,
oh no,
hey, you got
I
off
got I
easy,
got off the
pal.
hook.
You got off really easy.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, because if you talk to him in person, you're not getting away. You better have no plans for the night.
Bill is a persuasive recruiter. So tell us about your Valley days. I mean, you seem like you had a really good time when you were here.
Yeah, I had a really good time. It was a very busy schedule. I would get up here at my house about 5:30, 5:45 every morning, get on the road by 6:30 because I had classes from 8 to 12, and then I'd have like an hour break. And then baseball would start, 1:15 for me. And we'd be on the field from 1 to 5 ish, and then we hit the gym a little bit, and I'd have another hour drive home. But overall, it was a very good experience. I like the coaches, the team that I was a part of, and I learned a little bit. I grew up. I matured.
What was your major in college? What I mean, as far as what particular field of education that you
Uh, Kinesiology.
okay? Is that something you want to? Is it something you want to do to help you as understand as a baseball player, understand the mechanics of baseball? Does that help you at all, or is it something you want to do down the line after you're done
It's
with your
it's
career?
it's something I want to do after. If let's say if I get hurt or baseball doesn't work out, I go back to school and I get a degree in kinesiology. So because I always want to be around a sport if I can, and I like to help people.
Okay. What do you like about catching? Tell us about, for the average person, what do you like about catching? What makes catching so fascinating?
For me, I'm in full control. I control I control the game. I control every pitch that's thrown. It's I have to read reports on each batter. I have to know what my pitcher's doing. It's fun for me because I like handling that type of responsibility.
Pro baseball. Okay, you got drafted by the San Diego Padres. I know a lot of us, a lot of friends of mine in Chicago were thinking that you were going to wind up with the Cubs, but as it turned out, you wound up with the Pods. Tell us about the big adjustment that you had to make going from college and the aluminum bat and everything else.
Well, from junior college to the pros and the minors where I was in short season A where I started, there's a lot of guys that throw 95 plus, and in junior college you maybe see one guy in our conference that will touch 95. So we're seeing a lot faster and more competitive pitching on a day-to-day basis, and the aluminum part, aluminum you can hit the ball on the barrel pretty much anywhere, and it'd be almost a base hit or like good contact. With a wood bat, you can't do that. You have to square it up in the middle of the barrel, and if not, then you got a broken bat and you got some bees in your hands. Your hands start stinging.
Is there any particular highlight or a moment when you played at Valley that stands out that you remember the most?
Yeah, it was a fall game, I believe, against Citrus Valley College. We were at their place, and I went. I was 0 for 3 because I heard there's a scout in the stands, and I was trying to impress him, and I
And
kept
you went 0
popping up
for
to right
3.
field. Yeah, I was 0 for 3 so far,
Well, that was
and
impressive.
Coach Connolly came up to me and he told me a little story about a guy in the minor leagues. He would change his whole superstition up. So that my next at bat, I pulled my pants up so my socks are showing. I untucked my pockets. I rolled up one of my arm sleeves, and that very next at bat, I ended up hitting the grand slam, and I couldn't even breathe when I was running around the bases. I was so just flustered of what just happened and how it happened, and I kind of believed in the little superstition, but I had a smile all the way around, jogging. I was galloping around the bases.
I'm trying to digest that story right now, and I sort of feel like what you felt at the time.
It's the little things in baseball, that little things in baseball, man. It's a very mental game. So
Do you consider yourself
little,
superstitious?
yes, very
What kind of
superstitious. I do.
superstitions do you have on? Do you have a routine on game day that you do, or things that you eat if your things are going well, blah, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, if things are going well, I'll do the same exact thing. I'll put my cleats on the same way. I'll tie my shoes the same way. I'll tuck them in my cleats. I'll wear the same pair of sliders. I'll wash them, of course.
Yeah,
But I'll
better
wear
because
I'll
there
wear
used to be a guy named Bill Lee that I think pitched for the Montreal Expos and the Red Sox. And that guy had like won 12, 14 games in a row. I could be mistaken, but he didn't wash his uniform for almost like 4 months, and nobody in the dugout wanted to be near him. But obviously, you're not like that. So.
Oh, no, no, no. I'd make sure I'd wash my stuff, but I do the same exact thing. And right when I get in the on deck box or on deck, and I'd watch the pitcher and I do the same exact routine. I track the ball in. I do the same exact steps. Everything exactly the same. Even when I walk into the box, I'll put my back foot in, slide it across the plate, and I'll spit one time outside of the box, and I'll go back in.
Um, when in pro ball, have you met anybody yet that's a former major leaguer or somebody who's a fairly well-known?
Yes, my when I got promoted to the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, my manager was Jose Valentin.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah, he played in the bigs for a while. He's a really cool guy.
How much have you learned since you become a professional baseball player? How much have you learned about the little nuances of the game that you thought when you thought you knew it all? I mean, have you learned a lot more?
Yeah, well, I mean, I learned a lot more just by like catching and calling, because in college I didn't call my own game, so now I do. And it could just, as soon as a batter steps in the box, the way he positioned his feet, where his hands are, and how he swung at that pitch, and how he reacts to this certain pitch, and what my pitcher is working with, and all these little things that tie into the game, and it makes a difference that I didn't notice that much in college because I had a coach telling me what to throw, and because of what he saw and that I didn't recognize it yet.
So you got to spend a lot of time in your scouting reports and going over the hitters that you're going to be facing next, et cetera, right?
Yeah, yeah, because we play either a 3 to 5 game series. So after that first series, we'll go over the charts, see what batter did well or what batter did bad on each certain pitch and certain count, and I try to memorize that and take it to the next day.
What is your strength as a catcher? What makes you marketable, in moving up? Because you moved up already from Eugene, Oregon, I believe you were at, right? Now you moved up to was it Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Fort
Okay.
Wayne, Indiana,
And
yeah.
now you're going to report. Hopefully, you'll report to spring training in Arizona in the upcoming spring training. Are you planning on playing any winter ball in the Caribbean or Dominican Republic, anything like that?
Well, I leave in 8 days to the Dominican Republic.
Well, that answer that question.
Yeah, I'll be in the Republic for about 3 weeks. I come back. I leave September 24th, and I come back October 18th, and then I'm completely off until February 22nd, which is when we report for spring training.
Okay, really interesting because in the Padres organization, the manager for I believe the AAA team San Antonio, it's Rich Dower, who's a former Valley College State Player of the Year. So it's a strange connection there. I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but
Oh no, I was not aware of that. But when I get there one day, I'll be sure to have a conversation with him about that.
definitely do. At what point did you, and I always ask this question of everybody who becomes a professional player real quick because we're up against the clock. We're talking to Ryan Miller, Padres organization catcher. At what point do you realize your strength, it was obviously, in my opinion, is your arm. You have an unbelievable arm strength. I mean, when did you realize you were pretty good at this?
Well, after my freshman year, I threw out, I believe, 28 out of 33 runners at second and third, and I backpicked at first often. But my second year, my sophomore year at Valley, there's only 12 attempts, and I threw out 10. So I mean, they obviously learned that I'm a good defensive catcher, and I have an arm and I have a quick release. So, and my first season here in Eugene, I threw out, it was close to 70% of runners. So, I mean that's my best part of my game. I'm a good defensive catcher and I have an arm. So
Okay, real quick. I always like to do this. We're going to do it real quick. A couple of word association here. We call this super stream since we're streaming with. So, anyways, the first word that comes to mind after I tell you this to describe this: SBVC coaching staff,
funny,
baseball,
love,
soccer,
tired,
Ryan Miller. That's Ryan, thank you so much. I know you got a bright future ahead of you. I keep telling everybody in a couple of years you're going to be up in the big club, and I just hope that you stay injury free. Being a trainer, I have to tell you that, and everything works out for you. And come on by and don't forget about us.
oh, never, I never forget where you came from.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your time. Ryan Miller, the promising prospect from San Bernardino Valley College, now a rising star in the Padres organization on a mission to get to the big show. I'm Mike Sola. See you at the games.